Call the names. Wake the room. Wake the room. Wake the room! Lou, Rex, Pam Ray, Naomi, Afasiana, Babbler, Monarch Soul, Jojo, Grey Eyes, fill my eyes. Poets assemble. No masks, no manners. Say it plain, or say it broken. Monday night in the garden of enlightenment. Low light lit minds, every line got intent. Clock ticks crooked and the room turns vigilant. Quiet so loud you can hear what the tension meant. Then it slips after midnight, manners get murdered. Nice little masks get cracked by a word or a murmur. Twisted Tuesdays twist truth till it turns on its heel. Clean cut faces go strange when the dark gets real. You can feel that shit, that slick little slip when the grin stays sweet, but the eyes don't sit. Like the room grew ribs, like the walls grew ears, like the hush got hands and it's pulling you near. And the words don't rest, they press. Put a heel on the chest, leave a dent in the breath. Every line like a knock from the back of the brain. Like you came in one shape, you won't leave the same. Late night poets, where the room leans in, where the sharp gets shown in the soft dome dim. Late night poets, hear the whole thing shift from a whispering the ribs to a line that lifts from the darkened edge of doubt to the pull you can't ignore. We don't just read the night, we make it something more. Say it plain, say it broken. Late night poets, Wednesday breaks, parts in the parts, ink down the spine, half halo, half hazard, both hands in the light. In the yard of seduction, walks soft through the smoke, silk on the tongue with the blade in the joke. Books and bards wakes dust in the depth of the shelves. Old ghosts lean out and start naming themselves in a craft. In Sullen, not the ache gets a voice. Pain stands up street and makes silence a choice. Then break on through when the devil gives way. When the masses sink but the pulse says pray. Echoes in the dark, go hunt the fear. That thing when no name starts ringing in your ear. Say it, say it. Fill my eyes with poetry, don't water it down. Let it bite, let it bloom, let it burn through the crowd. Bad company grins like a bruised dress smart. And rhythm and rhyme puts a boot through the heart. Late night poets, where the room leans in, where the sharp gets shown in the soft dome dim. Late night poets, hear the whole thing shift from a whisper in the ribs to a line that lifts from the darkened edge of doubt to the pull you can't ignore. We don't just read the night, we make it something more. Say it plain, say it broken. Late night poets, some come shattered, some come slick. Some speak honey with a blade in it. Some sound velvet, some sound wire. Some walk in low and take the room higher. Some come holy, some come liars. That's the thing! This ain't filler for the dead space, no. There's a pulse with a pen, this is blood with a nickel. This is breath to the backbone, ink with the crown. Live mics, live nerve, truth laid bare in the round. This is the beautiful mess, the bruise and the bloom. The line that cuts clean and makes a little room. Late souls, wide eyes, all nerve in the dark. A room full of hearts beating hard through the dark. Wake the room, wake the room. Late night poets, where the room leans in, where the sharp gets shown in the soft dome dim. late night poets. When the clock slips past polite, we tell the truth. LNP, we love you. Stay frosty.
Hello and welcome to In Our Craft or Sullen Art, the multifaceted world of words inked. Here we will ponder and discuss poetry inspired by literary minds throughout history. I am Pam Ray, and with me is my new co-host, T. Manzano, Tim, and I are poets on a website called All Poetry with a group of poets called Late Night Poets. If you find tonight's show is not your cup of tea, please check out our other shows. We have 1 to 2 shows per night on a variety of styles of topics and poetry, something to suit everybody's taste. Also, make sure when you get a chance to check out the poetry anthologies put out by Late Night Poets, because when you purchase those, you not only get amazing poetry, you help support these radio shows. And hello, Tim, and welcome. I'm so glad to have you as a co-host. And how are you doing today? Oh, you might need to unmute, Tim. Oh, wait, are you unmuted? You look like you are. I can't hear you. Maybe check your mic.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes. We're like that commercial, that Verizon commercial. Can you hear me now?
Oh gosh. So I'm assuming I can be heard right now. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Oh, good. No, listen, I'm really excited to be, part of this, and honored that you asked me to do this. I gotta admit, I've been nervous all day about it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I've never done anything like this. So, but it's good. It's good to have new experiences and kind of stretch outside your comfort zone. So,
Absolutely.
looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
I agree. And I think it's going to work out very well. Phil My Eyes recommended me to you, or you to me, as a potential co-host, and I agreed, so I don't think the two of us would have agreed if we didn't think, that you were a right fit. But before I go further with anything else, I do want to take time to thank Jojo for his time that he put in for co-hosting with me. I don't want him to think that he's forgotten. I wish him all the best in his new endeavors, in his travels, his new job, everything he's going through. I want to thank him for not only the times he was on the show and co-hosting and, doing whatever needed to be done, but the contests that he ran too. So thank you very much, Jojo. And of course, stay in touch when you can.
Yeah,
And
that's exceptionally well said. I couldn't agree more.
yes, absolutely. But yeah, it is wonderful to have you joining, and it's going to be a great show tonight. We have a nice lineup of poetry. We are going to first get into carryovers of poetry inspired by Nikolai Gogol. And then we will, after that, get into rights inspired by the poetry of Richard Sykin, who is with that. That is a contest that Jojo ran. I unfortunately, like, usually when Jojo or somebody else is running the contest for a show, I leave my written comments before the show, so I know that it's done and over with. But I just had one of those days, honest to goodness. Like, I woke up with all kinds of energy. So at 6 a.m, I was cooking, I was cleaning, did that for a couple hours, and then I had energy for nothing else. not even writing comments. I think I spent the rest of the day napping on and off and only woke up to eat lunch.
Oh my goodness. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've had a crazy day today. It's my youngest son's birthday. I'm like I'm preparing like 10 tri-tip for a potluck for my business tomorrow. It's just been a crazy day.
Oh, wow. Well, happy birthday to your son.
Yeah.
Um, that is awesome. That is awesome. Yeah. Oh, speaking of birthdays, I haven't had a chance to tell anybody this yet. I mean, other than Jean. So, yesterday, no, not yesterday, the day before yesterday, um, my great niece was born. Um,
Yesterday?
and
Wow.
yes, yes. I mean, I have other great nieces and nephews, but this is like this is my brother's kid. It's his first grandkid, and she was actually born at 34 weeks, which isn't really early, but it's still early, and she's so tiny, like 5 pounds, 15
Oh,
ounces, 18 and a half inches long. Um, and yep.
came out like a
And her,
pencil.
yes, yes.
That's classic.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God. Yeah, I did not have my 4 kids, none of them were tiny like that. I had like 8 to nearly 10 pound babies.
Came out like a
So
butterball turkeys.
yes, yes, exactly, exactly.
That's good. That's good.
Oh, but it's so awesome when you get to see those adorable like little ones. I mean, I haven't unfortunately haven't seen her in real life, but it's still absolutely wonderful. I'm happy. Um, but yeah, so I think because because Gogol was one of those that the contest really carried. Like this is our third show with him. I don't think I really need to say anything about Gogol. I think we can just go ahead and start getting into the poetry, and you know then and I wasn't even going to ask you if you wanted to post links or do anything, because I figure this is your first show. I'll post links, I'll leave comments, and then for future shows we can find out if there's like something that you would like to do.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Whatever, we need to kind of figure out here in the future. I didn't know that that's something I could do, but yeah, you just let me know what I need to do and I'll do it.
absolutely. Well, for tonight, I think reading and commenting, and the difficult task of keeping me company and on track. Well, that's more than enough.
Oh, Pam, I think you could have fun with Tic Tacs in an insurance seminar all by yourself.
Yeah, there you go. Oh my God.
That's good.
All right. So I am going to go ahead and get the first poem up, um, which do 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 do. All right. It is Pondering on the Words of a Madman by Phil the Poet. And he was nice enough to supply us with a SoundCloud. So here we go.
This is a poem by Phil the Poet called Pondering on the Words of a Madman. Why ponder on the words of a madman who talks to himself about his devious plan, mentions about dead souls and people's noses, dark set eyes appearing from a bouquet of roses, writing equations in a little leather-bound book which he pulls out of his pocket to take a look, runs his eyes over the symbols once or twice, falls back in disbelief at the nonsensical price. Здравствуйте, я русский flag. He stands to attention as he begins to brag. Что это? Я золотой петух. Кукареку, кукареку. As he begins to hop around like a kangaroo. Я жил, я любил, но теперь я одинок. Знаешь, кто я? Я блочный пирог. Я пишу стихи кровью. Прощайте, друг. Кто я? Я вечный круг. What do these words mean? Do they make sense? Why are the madman's words such an offence? There's a thin line between genius and madness that always seems to end up in great sadness. End poem.
Wonderful read and write, Phil the poet. Thank you so much for the SoundCloud. I'm so glad we finally got to hear that in your voice with your reading the Russian part of the poem. And just a reminder, everyone, if you're unable to call in, the next best thing is to make a recording of your poem, because then we get to hear your poetry in your voice or how you would like it to be heard. And Tim, your thoughts?
Well, first, I'm glad I didn't have to read that one because I wouldn't have been able to know how to read it. But no, that was, man, this was when you're hearing the language being read, it just has such power. That's one of the things that I took away from it right away. Even though I didn't really know what it was saying, I think it was in the inflection and the way that it was delivered. It really was. Even though I didn't know what the words were, they felt heavy and they felt like they had a lot of meaning to it. But it's a fun little trick. It starts off like a nursery rhyme. It's kind of like kind of like bouncy and kind of sing-songish, and then it kind of breaks apart into this like this Russian part in the middle, which I really really enjoyed, even though I didn't understand what it was saying, but for some reason it fit, and I think that's the point. He's not telling you, that this guy's kind of losing it. He's actually making the words themselves feel like they're losing it too. That's kind of how I felt, and the flag and the rooster, apple pie, all in the same breath. It was confusing. It was confusing in a bit, but it was also, for some reason, it just kind of all fit, and that's really what I liked about it. I honestly really loved his reading voice also. It had like a good a timbre to it. Definitely us Americans, we really, at least for me, I like, hearing the British language or the Scottish language, or, when you have that
accents.
little bit of,
There's a lot of nice accents for sure.
it just brings such more feeling and depth to it. So with that, it had just this ambiance to it for me, and I really liked it. It was really well done.
Yep. Exactly. So and I think the craziness kind of like fits well with the poem itself, pondering on the words of a madman. Like I think you're supposed to pick up on that insanity in there, and so I think that was definitely a great observation you made. There is something about listening to other languages, even when I don't understand them. But he did actually put the translation down in his AN or below the poem. And I liked listening.
I didn't pick up on that. I'm
to
sorry.
that.
I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't pick up on that. I'll have to read it.
Yes, absolutely. But he made a really quite a few references to the works of Gogol. He wrote a story called Diary of a Madman. He wrote, his one novel was Dead Souls. He also wrote a short story called The Nose. And so it's really neat the way, Phil the poet fit those into his poem, and not in a way that it's forced, but in a way that it actually fits. And then I think he does a great transition going from, it feels like the first stanza is somewhat reasonable in voice, and then he goes purposely into that chaotic voice of a madman. Um, and I thought there were great lines throughout, but I did especially like the way he wrapped it up with, what do these words mean? Do they make sense? Why are the madman's words such an offense? There's a thin line between genius and madness that always seems to end up in great sadness. And, isn't that the truth? So oftentimes, mental health and the emotional turmoil seems to go hand in hand with being creative. So excellent write, and very well done by T. Manzano. Not your T. Manzano, sorry.
That's an excellent comment, though, Pam. Like I say.
Thank you. And by Phil the Poet. Yes, thank
Yes.
you very much. And all right. So the next poem we have up is Incredulous Ingenuity by Eric Svensson. And he too supplied us with a SoundCloud. I'm so glad these seem to be working so far. Fingers crossed, because the reason we have so many SoundCloud rights carried over is because the last In Our Craft or Sullen Art Show, none of the audios were working. Like, nobody could hear them. It was just a complete mess.
Oh,
But
yeah. I think I was on one of them, so yeah, I get it.
yes, yes. There was actually a couple shows where I was like, oh my gosh, this is insane. But
That first
so
that first
far,
one, yeah, that first one worked really well. Very good.
it did. It did. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. All right. So going to Eric's SoundCloud, and here we go.
Incredulous ingenuity. Babble or Babel. Delicious, capricious fiddlesticks. Hubris of Rubik's Cube sorted sanity. A bit bland, don't you think? Red squares secretly pine for blue squares. A paler shade of white feels lost without strident yellow's audacity. Credulous ingenuity, horse and carriage. Spin the top, dunk the dish. Quietude, etudes calm the nerves for just so long, don't they? Natural as nature are our passions. Highbrow-minded gent oogles the incidental hussy. Thrust and pull, horse and carriage, incredulous ingenuity. Flip the lid, trip the switch, maze runner mind, unbind boredom. Dull due decorum only seats a bridal forum for so long, doesn't it? Thrills, spills, and splashes of technicolor dream codes. Any dream will do as modern times talk wrench our guts. Get the instant fix. Invent faster fiddlesticks or sankaras. Incredulous ingenuity. Designers of dystopian dynasties have no idea. The undoable dream is dreaming them. Passions of mortal men, women, an influx of outrageous star children simply won't allow it, will they? Thrive brilliantly alive in dysfunctional, busy beehive life. Neither either nor, or will. The age of Aquarius allows stagnation. High-tech innovation even get grandpa's mojo going. Sooner than soon as grandpa can have a swarm femme fatale, hypnotic, robotic friend. Enough gadgets and widgets to set us free from rudimentary boredom, horse and carriage, incredulous ingenuity, passion personified by each glorious poem you pen, X, Y, or Z rated. You keep on dropping those plumb lines, salient angles, as opposed to square angles. Spread your wit super duper thick on mensch, Melba toast. Epicurean humor is what gets to designers of dystopian dynasties most. If needs be, do dashes dot sarcasm inverts their fear programs. Shove volatile, vehement enemas right up there where the sun never shines. Poor deadpan, unpassionate cretins certainly lack vitamin D, don't they? Horse and carriage, incredulous ingenuity, fey or fake, what's at stake? Remember how Grandma's passion flared up, twisted your ear, and declared that boredom leads to devilment. Mow the lawn, tend the ducks, milk the cows, pick those lemons and make lemonade. I'll add the moonshine myself, horse and carriage, incredulous ingenuity. Goblin or guru, passion will firebird phoenix arise again and again. Rightly so, for it kept Granny and Grams amped up till 99. Ask mine what spoonerism meant. Laddie, why do you think your grandma smiles each morning? Darling, he meant in literature. You meant that let me count the ways I love you and all that horseradish stuff. Grandma, so when you and Gram spoonerism, you become like the folks in that Cocoon movie. Horse and courage, incredulous ingenuity, info.
Oof, wow.
It is wonderful reading right there, Eric. Thank you for the SoundCloud. It is very much appreciated. Eric wrote to the Gogol quote, "Countless as the sands of the sea are human passions." I have to say, this right really gave me a great big smile all the way through. And those last couple stanzas especially made me chuckle. Um, and I like how there's humor in this, but it also has this wonderful message, that speaks to me on the idea of work hard, play hard, pass along to the next generation, not only words of wisdom, but also a sense of humor and a loving spirit. As always, he's just got such creative lines that has this great imagery and metaphors, clever wordplay. It's always wonderful to hear Eric reading his own poetry. He's got such a great reading voice. But yeah, this to me speaks on the magic of living and loving to the fullest and making sure the generations that come after you are witnesses to that living, that loving, that spirit of adventure, that it's passed along. And there really were such great lines throughout, but it's definitely the last three stanzas which I thought were the absolute really spoke to me. So excellent, right? And very well done. And your thoughts, Tim?
Yeah, yeah, I have to agree that I loved where it ended up, and I mean, there's this is this is a wild ride. I mean, and that's kind of to me, it was kind of the point. He's just kind of going for broke on the alliterations because there's so many of them. Delicious, capricious, fiddlesticks, quietude, etudes, dull. I think there was a dull, doer, decorum. To be honest, it was like this really interesting sound play that was going on, and it was kind of fun. He's clearly having kind of like fun letting all these words bounce around on each other. But behind the scenes, there's this like the horse and carriage. You know how it just kind of kept, the horse and carriage, incredulous ingenuity, and incredulous ingenuity. The way he was saying it was just so great. I love that. But it kind of almost worked like a chorus to me in my mind. And it kind of gave me something to kind of hold on to and center back to, because it kind of goes in and out of these really interesting tangents that I'm going to have to read again because I kind of got lost in some of them, but because it was kind of like a Rubik's Cube kind of thing happening, like the accent you mentioned it somewhere was like a Technicolor dream coach, dystopian dynasties. And then it kind of all comes back at the very, like those last stanzas in that final kind of stretch with Grandma and Grandpa. And it's really nice landing spot, after all those word plays, he grounds it in something kind of warm and specific, I should say. The spoonerism bit, that was really cool. And I kind of like it winks and it talks about cocoon. It gives the whole poem in a kind of like an emotional anchor I don't think it really necessarily needed it, but man, it definitely earned it. It's a lot of poem, and it's exactly what I think he wanted it to be. So, what an enjoyable one. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, yes. Great comment there. I'm glad you brought up that horse and carriage part, because it got me thinking. That actually makes me think of that song that used to be, is the intro song to Married with Children. It was sung by
Oh,
Frank Sinatra.
yeah, you took it from me.
Yes,
That's exactly right.
yes. Love and
And
marriage,
marriage,
love and
love and
marriage.
marriage.
Exactly. And I think that's
Oh,
probably actually what he meant. Um, because
good call. Good call. Yeah, that.
yeah, well,
Okay, I didn't even
because he,
think
he
about that.
speaks so much in the poem about his grandparents' relationship
That
that
makes sense.
it makes sense. So I'm glad you brought that up, because that triggered some thinking on my part. So
Oh, cool.
all right. Well, the
Cool,
the
cool.
next poem we have up is "I Shall Laugh My Bitter Laugh After Gogol" by Peter Solway. And would you please give that a read?
Oh, okay. All right, here we go. I hope I don't mess this up. All right. I shall laugh my bitter laugh after Gogol. Ha! Sick facts of humankind, mad species, sublime, far from humane, dinner table sharing, pig slicing comedians, Nazis laughing, mother pleading. Ha! Running out of steam, stand up jokes wearing lean. Did you hear the one about Abraham went to the butcher with his sacred son? Kierkegaard, note taking, Jew following, philosopher of all forms of despair, at an ironic distance, questioning faith, heights of tomorrow's Parnassus, molten limestone markets of green, breathe of alpine air, punchline of SS thug, ha and ugh, handsome Adolf boot on foot. Look, AP management calling time, a long, meaning innings, many innings done, cup, chalice of silver something, director trophy rescinding. That's it, a cut, a take, another Hollywood mistake, Bogart buggered, verses, sonnets, Shakespeare's cousin bereft, just bad weather to rent collect, bone soaked, knock, confess the mortal truth, ancient pa, and a nagging bitch. All poets must expire sometimes. Reckon, I guess. Surmise, title of next piece. Call it quits. maybe just flooded history, Yankees on the porcelain throne, Royal Dalton of Trying, and poem.
Great read there, Tim. And what an amazing write by Peter Solway, who was inspired by the quote, "I shall laugh my bitter laugh." Like so many of Peter's writes, this has a very biting tone. I think it has the kind of darkness and biting that Gogol often put into his work, along with social commentary, especially about the history of humanity. It is definitely very visceral imagery and metaphors. Um, I like how it speaks to me in part on the idea of trying to find something to laugh at, trying to find inspiration, while at the same time dealing with the fact that throughout history, humanity has been filled with this mad and ugly chaos created by absolute evil. And I shouldn't say all the time absolute evil, but it seems like chaos either comes from evil people or stupid people or sometimes all of the above. Um, and I thought, as always, he had some really great cultural references. I really like, because it hits hard. I mean, this is definitely not a beautiful poem, but it really hits hard. Nazis laughing, mother pleading, ha, running out of steam, stand up jokes, wearing lean. And then the stanza after that, I mean, it has a nice flow, and it also makes you think about some of the cruelty throughout history and how difficult it must be to even crack a smile, let alone find something to, laugh and joke about, unless you've just gone completely insane, or it's the kind of laugh that, like, it's just, as the quote says, it's a laugh of bitterness. So excellent, right, and very well done.
Yeah, great comment, Pam. You actually hit on a lot of things I wasn't really even thinking about. It's I think it's a little harder to, I'm going to try to practice this maybe in our future shows and spend the day maybe reading these poems a little bit and contemplating them before the show, because um, while I was reading it, and I kind of went back and reread them while I was listening to you, and it's kind of hard to comment on something when you're just hearing it for the first time, especially something like this. It was difficult to read because I'm kind of, I was stumbling over some of the words I didn't understand. But then at the same token, I got a feeling of where he's going. It has a lot of sarcasm in there. You could feel it. It's very gritty. It's almost, I mean, even the title talks about how I feel that sarcasm coming right from the title. But it has like a horror and comedy thing sitting, in the middle of it, and it kind of has hard to, it like refuses to resolve itself. That ha that opens it up, and it keeps kind of recurring, almost like a tick. I wrote a poem one time that had a tick sound in it. It kind of kept coming up, and so I kind of resonate to that kind of style. It's pretty smart. It's a smart device that I thought he used, but it never lets you settle into like a registry of whether it's a comedy or an atrocity, and it's definitely set, back in the 40s, 50s, kind of, the way I'm reading it. And it just kept forcing me into this kind of uneasy kind of feeling, or kind of like the laugh itself kind of sits in the back of your throat. So, but I also like how it widens out. It goes into the Hollywood stuff with Bogart and Shakespeare, cousin a bit, that bit was pretty cool. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure where this was headed, but you can feel the bite, the kind of the acrid feel of the humor, and it kind of still sits sour on my tongue right now. But I definitely like the way it was put together, and I'm definitely gonna have to spend a little bit more time with this one. But it was rough, bruising, but it was a kind of a controlled roughness. I really like it. It's just really well done.
Absolutely, absolutely. That was a great comment. And I have to say you really summed up how I feel about most of Peter's poetry, which is I don't know where this is going, but I'm enjoying the ride. So
That's exactly how I felt. I'm like, I don't know what I don't. I know the car's on fire. I know it's headed
yeah,
towards a cliff, and I'm like, let's go.
yes, exactly.
I'm ready. Let's do this. It's very, very Thelma and Louise.
Yes.
That's it. That's what I'm going to say from now on. Oh, good. Well, good. I'm glad I captured that.
Oh my gosh, crazy. Too funny. Well, up next we have The Essence of Being by Mermaid. I used to wear my hidden chasmo passions as a blunt corsage on a faded faw blouse, without a purpose, devoid of fragrance, choosing to place perceived obligations in front of all that really mattered to me. A yearning behind a plastered pragmatic smile to pen wanton words on blank screens where they once sat like a slow cooker brewing steam, bubbling below the surface of a vast veneer sea, scattered in themes at the mercy of melancholy. These days I collect them like treasured possessions, each syllable a rare shell, each word an oyster pearl, in nets that filter the nautical miles we walked. Our landscape a beach of once forbidden dreams that brings a rareness to the very essence of being. How everything is now so white and crystal clean, cast against a backdrop of teal and gray seams, as the gulls pass inland, sweeping scattered debris under coarse carpets of crustaceans worn filigree, like words that convey untold comfort for me. And poem.
Wow. Yeah, I really, man, this is really, this is kind of, I mean, compared to what we've just been reading, it's real quiet. It's patient. It's got a really like restrained feel to it. It opens with this that corsage on faded faux blouse. That image was really cool, which is such a good way to say, I was wearing my feelings, but not really letting them, mean anything or show anybody. It's just sitting there for show, but not for real. I like how it tracks. From all that stuff being bottled up, bubbling below the surface. That was, to actually, collecting it, treasuring it, like the shells and pearls. That's a nice turn. Um, Going from hiding what you feel to actually holding onto it like it's worth something. It's just so I love it's a lot of imagery going on in here, and the words are so soft and they kind of land so lightly, but then they have such a weight to them. The beach imagery threaded through the whole thing. It kind of ties together real well. Also, like nautical miles, gulls, crustacean, filigree. That's a lot of texture also. So I really appreciated how that was all packed into this really short poem. But it doesn't feel cluttered either. That's what's a lot of times shorter poems you try to put all these you're like, oh, I'm gonna need to cram all these things in there, and you get kind of overwhelmed sometimes over imagery. This does a really good job of kind of layering it out, spreading it out, so that you can kind of feel and in a way I almost taste the imagery, which is really really nice. This is well done. This is really. I love how it all points back to the idea of like finally getting comfortable in your own skin, and I think that's what the poem's about. It's the really great metaphors that are being used here. It's a real gentle, reflective piece. Man, I really enjoyed this one. I don't like softies. I'm kind of a hard edge guy, but this one hits. I really liked it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great comment. And, I think it helps when it feels like the person, like you said, it's about getting comfortable in your own skin. And, because it seems like as you're reading this poem that Mermaid is comfortable with her writing and herself, which she should be because she's a very talented poetess. It just, really makes you feel good about reading the poem. And I have to agree. I like what you had to say about how the poem is patient and about how it's textured. I think those were really great observations. She let's see. Yeah, I really like the consistency and tone in this, like using a lot of like oceanic imagery, really for metaphor really adds to a consistency and tone. I thought there was such a beautiful depth of emotion. I like how this speaks on the idea of treating your poetry like a treasure. Like, I just feel like it starts out, to me, it feels like it's that transition from where you feel like you have to write like every single day, sometimes several times a day. Like you just have to get that out there. And then you realize, you know what? I don't have to write every day. I can focus more on the idea of savoring each word, each syllable, each poem, rather than hurrying through them. And I just thought this had a wonderful imagery and metaphors and just a great um, lines all the way through. But I did especially like those last two stanzas. Beautifully written and very well done by Mermaid. All right.
Great comment, Pam. Loved it.
Thank you. Thank you. And all right, I'm going to get the next one up. And it will be another one that has a sound cloud. So let me get back to where I need to be. I tell you, I'm still figuring out the way the new site works. I have not figured out how to get from point A to point B without first going through point C.
I don't
So
even know how I got here.
oh, I get that. All right, so we have Death Valley by Captain Kerr. And here we go.
Skeletal key. Love me dirty, don't love me clean. Earthquakes coming, shaking deep inside me. Love me dirty, don't love me clean. You're never gonna bore me if the afterlife I'm sure life means more in the sea of the dead. Love me dirty, don't love me clean. Earthquakes coming, shaking deep inside me. Love me dirty, don't love me clean. You're never gonna bore me if the aftershocks me. Bad waters fill me beneath the blazing sun. Always thirsting when you're on the run. Had a house of status quo, I burnt the walls down. I'll take you on the ocean bed in the bones and the blood. Love me hard and dirty, anchored in lead. Love me hard and dirty in the sea of the dead. Love me dirty, don't love me clean. Earthquakes coming, shaking deep inside me. Love me dirty, don't love me clean. You're never gonna bore me if the aftershocks mean. The highway's a woman with sand in her mouth. Her voice dry and gravelly, dragging you south. I'm running naked on a phantom shore. Life means more in the sea of the dead. Unlocking your promises with a skeletal key. Love me dirty, don't love me clean. Earthquakes coming, aftershocks mean. Anchored in lead in the sea of the dead. Anchored in lead in the sea of the dead. Anchored in lead in the sea of the dead.
Oh man, did that cut off?
Oh, yeah, it would help if I unmuted myself, wouldn't it? Thank you, Captain Kerr, for that SoundCloud. It is very much appreciated. It is definitely a great choice of music. And I don't know, Tim, this seems like the kind of raw and gritty that's just up your alley. So what do you think?
Oh man, I mean, yes, this was. I was the minute it came on. I have no words. That's how much I like it. I'm like stumbling over them, wanting to say them all at the same time. No, this is right down my alley. Yeah, I've been riding motorcycles since I was a kid. I have a Harley now. I totally this piece totally resonates with me. And that opening line, God, the highways of a woman with sand in her mouth. That was just classic. I mean, it's just this is rough. It's dry. It drags you along, whether you like it or not, or whether you're ready or not. The choruses are just great. Love me dirty, don't love me clean. That hook is just off the chain. I just love it. It's kind of like a chant also, it keeps coming back, and you hear that, that pounding. I would love to hear them out of my own speakers. Actually, this song was really well done, but it's almost like Motley Crue made a baby poet and then created this, so it was really well done. And I love that all these repeated lines that kind of stack up to, the anchor to the lead in the sea of the dead, the sea of the dead. It feels just like it's building like something, and it keeps building. And that's what really like a good song will do. It kind of like brings you up, and then the landscape, the bad water, salt, brine, bones. It's not just like Death Valley, but it's using all the heat and dryness and salt to stand for, this whole kind of relationship, and it's really intense. It's dangerous. It's really not comfortable, but you also kind of want it to be dangerous. It's like the girl who likes the bad boy. It's just it's all those things all kind of wrapped up into one, and it's got that drop D guitar that's just crushing in the background. John, 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 John. Love it. Dig it. We'll probably come back to this and play it through my stereo system later tonight. But yeah, this thing was badass. I loved it.
Absolutely, absolutely, for sure. Great comment, Tim. Yeah, I really liked the hard rock sound of this. He did what I felt like was a more modern take on the quote that he was inspired by, which is "Love us dirty, for anyone will love us clean." I really just powerful, raw, and gritty lyrics. I'm actually kind of hoping that Captain Kerr, along with many of our other talented songwriters on All Poetry, put something in the contest for Sunday's Rhythm and Rhyme show. I think, that he would be like one of many great additions to that show. And the hold on, sorry. I was just thinking,
No, I mean, I think you're right. I think he should be writing for for the rhythm and rhyme. That'd be so perfect. So perfect.
absolutely, absolutely, yes, definitely. But yeah, I for this one, back to this poem, I really think this is raw. It's gritty. It's just very powerful. Um, I thought it had great lines throughout. I like how it speaks on, like, I feel like it speaks on a connection felt not only to a person, but to a land, and both of which are filled with a strength within, but the damage done and the desire to be loved and embraced within the blood and dirt. So basically, the idea of acknowledging the imperfections, acknowledging the broken pieces of each other and of the land you live in, and being, what, we love this anyways. This is who we are for each other. This is who we are. This is who this land is for us. And great lines all the way through. But I did especially like the chorus, and also where it says, "Bad waters fill me beneath the blazing sun, always thirsting when you're on the run. Had a house of status quo, I burnt the walls down. I'll take you on the ocean bed, in the bones, in the blood. Love me hard and dirty, anchored in lead. Love me hard and dirty, in the sea of the dead." Wonderful lines, beautifully written, and very well done. And all right, I'm going to go ahead and bring someone on. So here we go. Before we go to the next poem, I'd like to welcome Weaver to the show. Hello, Weaver. Glad you could join us. How's it going?
Oh, hello. Oh, it's great to be here. I've had my 2 hours sleep, so I'm raring to go.
Ah,
Oh,
there
that's
you
great.
go. There you go. Yep. Sometimes that's all it takes. Um,
Yeah.
I know for me, sometimes it only takes an hour or two, but sometimes it takes like nearly like 12. Um, it just depends. It just depends. But did you get a chance to read or to, hear Captain Kerr's poem Death Valley?
No, I did not. I'm so sorry. I came in just as you started to talk about it, but I'm certainly going to listen to it because it sounds like it must have been marvelous.
It was
It-
it was very rocking, hard rock for sure.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I
Um,
love hard rock for me. AC/DC was my all-time favorite when I was a
Oh,
biker.
oh man.
then you're gonna love
Yeah,
that
they're one of
song.
my favorites too. I actually used to have AC/DC's Highway to Hell, like on my as my phone ring, like when my phone rang, it would automatically go into Highway to Hell.
Oh, fabulous. What a way to
Yeah.
introduce yourself.
Outstanding.
Yeah. The only problem came was one time when I was in church, my phone
Oh,
went off because I forgot to put it
oh no,
on
going
on
straight to
mute.
hell.
So yeah, sitting in church highway. Like, nope.
Oh my goodness
Uh,
me.
that-
Oh, that is life. That is just life in a nutshell, isn't it? It'll get you when
that's
it
true.
can.
Yep, exactly, exactly. All right. Well, I have put up our last carryover. Not yeah, the last carryover, not the last poem, but last carryover. From the Gogol contest, and it is Venture alla Calamari by Repercussionist. And Weaver, would you give that a read for us, please?
I would be happy to. Thank you. Uh, oh, Venture alla calamari. I know I'm hungry now. Okay. Concentrate, woman. Ah. While wading in the water, caught a wet, soft-bodied squid, took it home for dinner, but the evening was a damp squid. I don't think ink, but due to unrequited one-way conversation, neither returned nor reciprocated on my part. Quite the aberration, courtship was not to be, for as a voracious marine carnivore, I could not sate her hunger, as had insufficient albacore, therefore not a keeper. What's more, a pet one cannot tame. Next day, all things considered and quite timely, 'twas returned to the sea from whence she came. Disclaimer: no squid were harmed in the writing of this poem. End poem.
I love that disclaimer.
Love
That
that
is so
disclaimer.
great. Great read there, Weaver. And Tim, your thoughts.
Yeah, this is obviously it's very playful from start to finish, and I love the wordplay. The wordplay is actually doing a lot of heavy lifting, in my opinion. Damp squib, I don't think ink. That's a clever, without trying too hard. More like a wink, like kind of all the way through. It's kind of how you felt like it's like, oh, you picking up on this? It's cute, and I like how the whole thing rides this extended, like kind of a joke of treating a squid like a failed date. That's how I felt. Like this is kind of the background story that I was kind of reading into, because it said unrequited one-way conversations, not a keeper. that there, so see you later, like a first date kind of thing. A pet one cannot tame. It's silly, but it's also structured really well. So like a tiny little story within a setup. Some flirting,
Absolutely.
yeah, some flirting, and then a kind of a clean, graceful exit. Kind of back to the sea. So it's a very condensed poem, but man, did it not say a lot? I loved it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I have to agree. I thought the same thing. Like it's just like, quirky and clever and fun. And Kate, you did a great read of that. Your thoughts.
Oh, I thought it was wonderful. I must admit, I was kind of paddling all the way through this. I couldn't quite, it hit me in such a way that I couldn't quite get into the rhythm, only because it was totally unexpected and so good, so much fun. Yes, I really enjoyed it. Unfortunately, it also reminded me of a very bad joke about one shark, one shark swimming up to the other and saying, "Here's the 6 quid I owe you." Oh, sorry, that's terrible.
That's awesome.
Oh my
Oh my
goodness,
God.
I do apologize immediately. That was terrible. But anyway, yes, Ventura alla Calamari did not let me down. I thought it was incredibly clever, so funny. As I say, I did kind of get a little bit lost in it, and so it wasn't as smooth as I would have liked it to have been, and it deserved to be, but wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing.
I have to agree. Great comments, both of you. And, I thought this one was really fun. It gave me a smile. It made me think of a couple of different things. Like it did make me think of some of the most ridiculous pets that people try to keep, like trying to keep like chimps and other wild animals as pets. But I think mainly what it made me think of is the idea of just being in a relationship where you're just never going to be able to satisfy this person. And I think it definitely approached the subject with this great humor and clever lines. And yeah, whether it's about keeping a pet or trying to be in a relationship, there are just some things that do not work. So excellent write and very well done by Repercussionist. And so now that was the last of our carryovers, and we will be going into poetry inspired by Richard Siken. Before we get into the poetry itself, I actually want to read what Jojo wrote in his contest about Richard Siken. And that way we can, get to know a little bit more about this poet. And and I'm just because I unfortunately did not get around to reading his poetry. I should have, but I just didn't find the time. I know he's been highly recommended to me, and so I will have to eventually do that. But I'm looking forward to the poetry, the quotes inspired. I definitely will say there's strong quotes, and I'm think that from the quotes themselves and from what Jojo says in his contest, it seems like this poet Richard Siken is very inspiring. Okay, so we have here Richard Siken's work is shaped by velocity, where desire, danger, image, and address rush forward before the speaker can make them safe. Siken's poems often feel cinematic, intimate, and unstable. A car becomes a room becomes a crash, a lover becomes a threat, a repeated image becomes a wound the poem cannot stop touching. His poems move through pursuit, panic, beauty, violence of feeling, and the desperate need to make a better story out of what has already gone wrong. And then he says, Jojo says about his contest, this contest focuses on how feeling in motion, how desire accelerates, how address becomes pressure, how repetition becomes obsession, and how a poem can stage emotional danger without merely explaining it. And he also gives a little bit of biography info on Richard Siken, which is that he's an American poet and painter, born in 1967. His poems are known for desire, panic, pursuit, cinematic motion, and emotional danger. His first collection, Crush, which I know Jojo highly recommended reading, was selected by Louise Gluck for the 2004 Yale Series of Younger Poets Prize and became one of the defining contemporary books of obsessive high voltage lyric poetry. So I'm not exactly sure. I should check this because I do have the Wikipedia page bookmarked. I know they're not always the best, but I tend to go to them because I think for the most part they have some good information about people. And I was gonna see Here we go. Richard Sykin was born in New York, New York. And his notable works include Crush, War of the Foxes, and I Do Know Some Things. I like that title. That is a very cool title. But yeah, so there's some information. Now, Tim, I don't know if you've ever read Richard Sykin, if you'd like to have anything that you'd like to add.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, I actually I would. Um, Jojo actually reached out to me and said, I really want you to write for this contest. And, I really think that you should check out Richard Sykin. And so I did. And I mean, my hair just, it flew straight back. Um, I can't express to you the power of his writing. Those are individual things that people feel. Um, they're subjective, of course, but for me, it was, man, I resonated to his writing immediately. I bought the book Crush, based on just reading some of his work, and I've read maybe about three or four of them. I had to put it down. They're just this is a truly gifted poet. Now, I'm not saying that there's not incredibly gifted poets everywhere, but when a poet connects, and they're incredibly talented, that has this value to it. For me, it was uh, I, I I really don't have many words for it. It's just it was a great connection. I thank JoJo for recommending it. So, and I can't wait to read the rest of it if I can.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, great. Thank you for that. And I'm glad you're able to connect with the poetry, and I'm glad you were inspired to write. And speaking of which, the next poem we have up is Water, Weather, Weather by T. Manzano. And of course, we know who's going to read that.
Thank you very much. Okay, well, I hope I do Richard Sykin. I hope I do Richard Sykin some justice. Water, weather, weather. I knew you the way you know a paper boat set loose in a gutter on a rainy California day. Let me start that over. Hold on. I knew you the way you know a paper boat set loose in a gutter on a rainy California day, which is to say, barely. Only what got in the way of you. I picked debris off your edges for years. Sticks, leaves, the small hard things the street collects and calls it love-ish because it kept us moving. Tell me, was that love, or was I just afraid of what you looked like? Yesterday and all days were a day of paper boats, debris. You found the inlet that let you into my ocean, and I let you in, never asking what that cost you. Becoming water in a place built to hold water. I count on things being in the way. Sticks, dirt, rocks, you. Confess it with me. That's the shape we made of us. Unconfidently confident. Each of us clearing each other's paths. So neither had to ask if the current wanted this. I was standing, sitting, breathing, and the sky opened up on me again. And the sky opened up on me anyway, the way it always has. Wet shoes, wet socks, that gray halo I've trusted for years, right up until the light cracked open behind it. You did that, too. You were the weather I called constant. Tell me, who I made a whole ocean for? What does it ruin to never let a thing rest? Everything is out to sea now, both of us, looking for our own sky to give us meaning. I need to know, before the paper gives out, were you ever going to find the shore? Or was I always just the gutter you were passing through? End poem.
Wonderful read and write there, Tim. I see you were inspired by prompt number one, which is the quote, "Tell me how all this in love too will ruin us." And Jojo also put, write a poem that speaks directly to someone about what love may damage. I thought this had powerful lines, visceral imagery and metaphors. It has a great consistency in tone, and a wonderful use of spacing. I like the paper boat as a metaphor and how you keep returning to that, and how you write about what it feels like to constantly have to feel like you're falling apart because you're taking on another person's garbage, how it feels like a relationship is just a one-way path, that there's this constant give, but nothing returned. It's just always about the burdens that that you end up carrying because you try to hold on to something that isn't meant to stay together. And I thought there were great lines throughout, but I did especially like, I count on things being in the way, sticks, dirt, rocks, you confess it with me. That's the shape we made of us, unconfidently confident, each of us clearing the other's path, so neither had to ask if the current wanted this. I was standing, sitting, breathing, and the sky opened on me anyway, the way it always has. Like you can just see the chaos and the mess that has become life, that has become a relationship that feels like you're simply passing through without a sense of direction. So excellent, right, and very well done. And Kate, your thoughts?
Oh, I could feel in your read how much this had touched you, and how much it meant to you, which I thought was wonderful. And the last two stanzas I thought were so sad. I need to know before the paper gives out. Were you ever going to find the shore? Or was I always just the gutter you were passing through? Oh, oh, that really got me. That was just wonderful. And again, all the way through, you keep going back to that, the fact that you are aware that you're being used, and is being used better than not being used, or being ignored, or not having that at all. So I thought it was brilliantly done, and thank you so much for sharing.
Great comment, Weaver. And Tim, would you like to say anything about your poem?
Yeah, you both definitely got the crux of what this was really about. Weaver, I think you hit the nail on the head in the very end there, those last two stanzas. Um, it I think in my I don't know, on AP, I say nonfiction, fiction, written in half truths. So a lot of my stuff is fantasy and with a lot of little sprinkles of reality or things that have actually happened. And this one's more real than um, fiction. And it's just, I've had, it's a pen pal friend of mine that I've had for a very long time, very one-sided. And it's a shame if you, and I like the paper boat. Metaphor, especially in this poem, because the paper boat really only has so much time, doesn't it? It'll float, but eventually it will go out to wherever it's supposed to go out and fall apart. So both your comments were just spot on. I really appreciate them. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you were inspired, and very cool. Very cool. All right. So I'm going to put up the next poem, which is Crassy by Olka F. And he was nice enough to supply us with a SoundCloud. Um, and Tim, I just need a minute. So when the SoundCloud stops, would you just go right into commenting? And then if you need to, just have Weaver comment after you.
You bet. Absolutely.
All right, awesome. I appreciate that. So I'll go ahead and go push play.
So many tattoos, fiendishly not hidden, not crassy. Student, student, fake. So many tattoos, fiendishly not hidden, not crassy. One line, plenty, circles glowing. Within her bright dragon eyes lies down tigerish honest pin. Not log on dish itching, but a boating buttered bait. So many tattoos, fiendishly not hidden, not crassy. I saw her last, skulldaggered, often laid brain, showcasing, gladding, padding, echo, yet fastening hard the pen inaudibly forth, flying bard. So many tattoos, fiendishly not hidden, not crassy. So many tattoos,
Fiendishly not hidden, not crassy.
All right. I feel like I'm in a nightclub. Love it. First of all, I dig that kind of music, that ambient trance and all that house. It's really, really cool. So I dig that kind of stuff. This is interesting. I mean, the poem actually has like a lot of visual draw to it as well. I love how, crassy is. I don't even know how he spelled those letters there, but that's kind of cool. Then student, and then all the wordplay and different phonetics, spelling that's there. That's also kind of clever. This almost seems like someone is on the outside looking in on someone that maybe they admire or want to be next to or is attracted to. Um, you know, Obviously this person has the tattoos and they're fiendishly not hidden. It's almost on purpose. Um, and then, uh, it talks about, within her bright dragon eyes, lies down, triggerish, honest pin. I mean, all that stuff kind of leads me to believe like they really like this person. They're attracted to them. Then that they kind of got this really, like a swag to them, and you can almost get the imagery that you're in a club and they're walking into the club, or they're already in the club and this person walks in and they're like, whoa, check this person out. And I don't know if it's a girl or a guy, but they got this swag to them or an attraction to them, and it's kind of what comes to mind for me. When I was younger, I frequented clubs a lot, and so and we had wild hair and weird colors, and so we express ourselves in a lot of different ways. And this feels like that. This feels like this is like someone trying to express themselves, and they're outwardly showcasing this. And as a matter of fact, I think there's a word in here, showcasing. Yeah, they're showcasing, gladding, padding. So and then this the speaker is talking about seeing that person walking into this space. So really, really, really cool. It actually threw me back to my club days and dug it. I dug the music, dug the imagery, dug the feeling of everything. It was visceral for me anyway. So really well written. I like it. It's fun. And then Weaver, over to you. What did you think?
Oh, thank you. Wow. Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you for giving me the names of all those different types of music. I'm afraid I went from Beethoven to the Beatles, and that was it. Apart from Jerry Rafferty, obviously. But yeah. So thank you for that. I thought this was fabulous. I mean, my goodness me, how clever. So we
Yep.
have, so instead of saying, you are classy, we have, you're not crassy. I thought that was so clever. I like that. Yeah, clever. And then from there, it was just so good. And that we have at the bottom for Mo. So I think you're right. I think there was a person this was directed at, which was made it even sweeter and lovelier and madder. And also in the PS we have another echo poem, and I don't know what the and is, but still another. So there are more of them, which is great. We'll have to hunt them out because this is so much fun. So yes, I enjoyed it. I love the echo is so cool, and I do like tattoos, although I only ever had one because it was too painful. I'll never do that again. But yes, yes.
That's
Anyway,
awesome.
yeah, thank you so much for sharing. I enjoyed it immensely, and you woke me up. Great.
Absolutely, absolutely. Great comments, both of you. Um, and I see he was inspired by the quote, "Love always wakes the dragon and suddenly flames everywhere." Um, this is an echo style poem, which is a form that Olka invented. And but I like the way he wrote the title, the word crassy, using different symbols. I thought that was really cool. I did have to go while you two were commenting. I had to look up to see if there actually was a Dr. Agon, because of the wordplay with dragon, but also says Dr. Agon. And sure enough, there is. In fact, Dr. Agon is the author of the science fiction series DNA of the Gods. Um, so apparently, which actually his stories weave together, scientific hypotheses and other things. So sounds interesting. Sounds interesting. I do see that Olka's poem says for Mo. So, I hope whoever Mo is, they get a chance to, listen to this poem. It really hits hard. I think Olka is, to me, really good at wordplay, um, and really good with choosing a kind of music that has a sound that grabs your attention, like the real rhythmic electronic sound to it. I thought there were great lines throughout. I do like the mention of tattoos because it makes me think of the book and movie, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Um, and I feel like this is about, you know, uh, really just intensely being into somebody because they are honest about who they are. Um, I think that comes through with so many tattoos, fiendishly not hidden, not crassy. Like the idea of somebody who just has everything about themselves, tattoos, their attitude, whatever it is out there and it is raw and it is honest. And I just think this is a great write by Olka. and very well done. All right, getting back to where I need to be. All right. Next poem is gotta get posted in YouTube too. All right. It is Weather Love by Peter Solway. And it goes like this. Life will surely damage love's eternal question. Move the bulldozer in, put us at severe odds to everything. Sylvia not igniting stove, cooking for offspring. Rilke's panther char grilled, still pacing. Vong unknown, Ted not coming home. Love maybe a takeaway fiction. Hungry hunters for meaning, usually alone, not to be trusted. End poem. And Weaver, your thoughts.
Right, okay. Amazing as always. I have to say that first off, but there is obviously something quite devastating going on. Life will surely damage love's eternal question, and that's a question. Move the bulldozers in, put us at severe odds to everything. So, somebody's life is being totally destroyed by the sound of it. And so Sylvia's not cooking, and love may be a takeaway fiction. Hungry hunters for. There is a lot in this, and as usual, with Peter, so deep that sometimes I get just a little bit lost. I have to be honest. There's no point in me pretending. I don't say for 1 second that I have much knowledge when it comes to poetry, but I do, as they say, enjoy it. And I did enjoy this because there was a lot in it. So I'm going to wait for Pam to help me out, as she always does with her wonderful comments. But thank you, Peter, for sharing. Over to you.
Great comment there, Weaver. And I can't promise any help whatsoever, but, first of all, we'll see what Tim has to offer. So, your thoughts, Tim?
Well, okay. This packs up. It's like a whole reading list of poets in this thing in the middle part. If you did, that's what I picked up on it. But it works because it trusts you to catch the names, without stopping to explain them. Like Sylvia, Rilke, Vong, Ted. I mean, each one basically is a whole poem worth of grief and struggle. That's kind of like that's that style. It's all compressed into this kind of single beat. The opening image of bulldozers moving in against love's eternal question. That kind of is a blunt, violent tone right away to me, anyway. And then it keeps that hardness going, kind of all the way through. There's nothing really soft or sentimental in any of this. Even when it's like talking about love, it's not really, giving anything to it. Um, and that ending, like calling love a takeaway fiction, not to be trusted. I mean, that's a real gut punch. I mean, that's a real gut punch of a close. So there's no neat bow tied on any of this. There's a lot of skepticism and weary disposition in this little short poem, and I walked away from it with a really heavy weight out of this little um, this packed tightly punch of a poem. It's the best way I can put it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Great observations. Yeah, I have to agree with you that this is definitely not a poem that speaks on love like it's something that's, wagging puppy dog tails and butterflies and daisy fields. It feels very heavy, very gritty. And I will say the middle part, the part where he's mentioning all these different authors, is in part because of what the way JoJo words his contest is. He always says a little bit of something about the contests he's done before, and because he's done at this point the few different contests. He mentions Gluck, he mentions Rilke, Vuong, Plath, and Bidarts. And so I think it's kind of like, in his own way, Peter just having fun with that. Peter does never give the quotes he writes to, but usually it's in his title. Like the fact that his title is Weather Love, I pretty much get the impression that he was inspired by the same quote that Tim was. I did think it was a clever right, especially when he says Rilke's Panther char grilled, because the Panther is one of Rainer Marie Rilke's most well-known poems, and so I get that. Like, I like that, not I get it, but I like it, and I thought that was clever. Also, love maybe a takeaway fiction, Hunters for Meaning. Hungry Hunters for Meaning makes me think of not only the idea, are we looking for meaning in life, which can sometimes feel like futile, but it also makes me think of the poem, and I forget who wrote it. Billy somebody, I know, I shouldn't remember his name, but it's that poem, the anatomy. It's the poem, The Anatomy of a Poem, where him as a professor of poetry trying to explain to the students how to quietly observe a poem, and they just basically want to drag the meaning. Like, it's such an amazing poem. It's got this great presentation, this humorous presentation, and that's what Peter's poem makes me think of, is that the idea of too many times we're basically trying to hack the meaning out of life and love. So, excellent right, and very well done by Peter Solway. And all right. Okay, all right. Gray is going to be joining us. So awesome. I will bring him on.
Sweet.
Hello, Gray. Glad you could join us. How's it going? Are you unmuted, Gray?
Going well, Pam. Thank you. How are you?
Oh, it's going good. Going good. Glad you could join us.
I'm unmuted. Thank you. I'm going to have to turn my earphones off because they're causing a delay.
Yes, I think so. Yeah. All right. And I am going to go ahead and get up the next poem, which is Love Long Gone by Weaver of Dreams. And go ahead, please, Kate, and give that a read for us.
Thank you. Hello? Oh,
Yes.
Don't tell me I've lost everybody. Hello?
No, we can hear. Can you hear us, Kate?
Yes, thank you. I can now. Yes, I'm just trying to get it. If you'll bear with me a second, I have this problem trying to get from one place to another with this, everything disappeared, and then I have to find. I've got it. Thank you. And may I say before I start,
I've had a hard time getting from one place to another all my life, so I totally get you.
Yeah, I can't tell my left from my right. It's quite scary. So I wanted to say a heartfelt thank you, um, because in the rulings, or the important part of this, we are told that poems should engage the prompt in the writer's own voice rather than imitate second diction or style, for which I am eternally grateful. Thank you. So I can go ahead with this. Okay, this is Love Long Gone. Here is a self-centered soul, lost and tormented. He's haunted by the echoes of a love long gone, who refuses to accept the cold demise of desire. Despairing, he lingers in the shadows of her life. His shrunken form yearns to feel her touch again, yet she is unencumbered by any memories of him. If malevolence is an art form, this miserable man rivals Picasso's blue period with pulverized Poe. Egocentric, controlling, he has to have his own way. He takes no blame for those terrible things he does. Desperate and consumed by a mean, morbid longing, he seeks to terrify, shake her fragile grasp on sanity. This in the hope that she'll weaken, succumb to fear, thus join him in a make-believe realm of eternal love. With strength and courage, she resists his clarion call, refuses to be broken by his wicked, twisted intentions. For she knows that true love does not flourish in fear, neither can peace ever be found in another's coercion. Her heart, though scarred, still beats with firm resolve to live, to love, to flourish in the land of her own making. In this dance between the living and what is now dead, a tragic tale unfolds, a melancholic symphony of denial. He has learned nothing. He still chases what eludes him, meanwhile haunted by the echo of a love that once was. But she, now his lost love, finds solace in that living world, thus chooses life's vibrant tapestry over his ghastly shadow. Within the tragic necessity of her escape, her strength lies, as the ghost, now left behind, fades into the abyss of time. End poem.
Wonderful read and write, Kate. I'm glad you were inspired. See, you were inspired by You Want a Better Story? Who wouldn't? I like how you definitely, I felt like, connected with the quote, but did have you use your voice. And Gray, your thoughts.
You're on mute, Gray.
Yeah, I was. But I like your poem a lot. It speaks of a narcissist who seeks total domination and control over his quote unquote love interest. Um, there's so many men out there that are like this, so domineering and controlling, and they think that they should be loved just because they have this so-called affection or affinity for another person, although it's just another aspect of their narcissist tendencies coming through. I thought it was beautiful, nicely done, beautiful
Oh,
read as well.
so true, so true. Yeah. And I mean, not just men, but yeah, it does definitely to me also. And I like that you brought this up. Speak on what it's like to love somebody with a narcissistic personality. And Tim, your thoughts.
Yeah, I especially like this stanza here. But she, now his lost love, finds solace in that living world, thus thus chooses life's vibrant tapestry over his ghastly shadow. I mean, that's so strong. This one has such clean lines between two people, and that contrast is really what carries, what kind of carries it. Um, his side is all shrinking and haunting and coercion. Hers is the her or the she is strength, resolve, choosing to live. You feel the pull, the push and the pull of both without the poem ever really kind of losing its footing on which one it's kind of rooting for, which I find interesting. That was also uh, really clever, Weaver, the way you did that. By the way, your reading voice, I just absolutely love. So, um, that line, comparing him to Picasso's Blue Period and saying he pulverized Poe. Oh, that was really great turn right there. Sharp. That was sharp. Nice. Using art as melancholy itself, as a measuring stick for how deep his gloom goes. Really clever, just really clever. Really enjoyed this piece, just kind of from start to finish. There's just so many good things going on, and it was a really good way to size up the character without just like kind of like listing, adjectives, at you, just kind of throwing all these adjectives. Anyway, um, I can get wordy here. I apologize. But I also like the way that the her or the she is not written in like a passive victim. Also, with strength and courage, she resists his clarion call. I love that line. This poem gives you know the her or she real agency, real resolve. So by the end, when he fades into the abyss of time, which is kind of the closing stanza I was talking about, it doesn't feel like an accident. It feels like it was supposed to happen. It kind of earns it. Really, really good piece, Weaver. I always enjoy your work. They're so clever. Well done.
Absolutely. Great comment, Tim. And yeah, I thought this was a wonderful narrative style, right? Nicely written couplets with strong lines and great imagery. I like how this isn't just a story about somebody who is a narcissist, somebody who is abusive and cruel, but rather also more importantly about the strength of spirit this woman has to get away from this, to stand up against this cruelty and be true to herself. I too also really like that line about Picasso and Poe. If malevolence is an art form, this miserable man rivals Picasso's Blue Period, would pulverize Poe. Those are great lines. And I also like where you say, desperate and consumed by a mean, morbid longing, he seeks to terrify, shake her fragile grasp on sanity. This in the hope that she'll weaken, succumb to fear, thus join him in a make-believe realm of eternal love. Like the idea of that manipulation, that psychological manipulation, that and gaslighting that has you questioning your own sanity. So excellent, right, and very well done. And Kate, would you like to say anything about your poem?
Well, I'd like to say thank you for your very kind comments. They're most appreciated. And Tim, you picked on that one line that I was not sure about. Um, I didn't think it worked, but I left it with strength and courage. She resists his clarion call, and I'd written it, and I came back to it, and I thought, oh, I can't think of anything else. I'll leave it. I got to that point, but yeah. So if you didn't pick on it as being wrong, then we'll just go with it. Thank you so much, and thank you for your comments.
Isn't it funny how the lines that we struggle with and we continue to try to edit are the ones that we really don't want to kind of shed ourselves or our skin of, yet it's exactly what we wanted to say. Ugh, brilliant line. I loved it.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very cool. Very cool. And up next, we have A Lie Agreed Upon by Jody Melton. And Gray, would you give that a read for us, please?
Sure, you betcha, no problem. Alrighty. Do, 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 do. Okay, so we have A Lie Agreed Upon by Jody Melton. You arrived like someone carrying a candle into a room I had spent years convincing myself was empty. Your light did not reveal furniture, it revealed teeth. Something old uncoiled beneath my ribs, stretching itself awake like a wolf remembering the taste of winter. People say love heals. No, love resurrects. It places trembling hands upon the graves we dug ourselves and whispers names we buried because they were dangerous. Jealousy rose first, wearing your perfume, counting every smile you gave the world that wasn't mine. Then hunger came, not for your body, but for possession, to your own laughter, to imprison your gaze, to outlaw every horizon that did not end with me. Memory followed, dragging chains for every goodbye I had ever survived. It reminded me that every embrace already contained its future absence. Fear sat quietly in the corner, patient as a priest, teaching me that the deeper I loved, the more exquisite the inevitable loss and grief. Grief smiled before there was anything to mourn. It saw the ending before our story learned the plot twist. Then rage awakened, not against you, but against the universe for creating such beauty with expiration dates. I became someone I had spent a lifetime escaping. You called it love. I called it haunting, because every kiss echoed through the chambers that should have remained sealed. Every promise fed creatures that silence had almost starved. Perhaps love has never been the gentle thing our songs insist upon. Perhaps it is merely permission to awaken every sleeping monster, only to call the wreckage a miracle. We build poems, churches, wedding vows, and lullabies around its name, not because it's true, but because the lie is kinder than the emptiness waiting beneath it. Maybe that is all love has ever been, the most beautiful fiction, two frightened souls that agree to believe until one of them finally opens their eyes. End poem.
Great read there, Gray. And as always, just absolutely a brilliant and powerful write by Jody Melton. And Tim, your thoughts?
I mean, good gravy. I mean, just the opening for me was just staggering. You arrived like someone carrying a candle into a room I had spent years convincing myself was empty. I mean, just let that opening stanza just sit there for a little bit. I was immediately just, wow, it's so strong. Your light did not reveal furniture, it revealed teeth. And then the other stanza that just absolutely just set out. The rage awakened, not against you, but against the universe for creating such beauty with expiration dates. I became someone I had spent a lifetime escaping. So these these are such strong anchored lines. And to be honest, I think to me the opening two stanzas and that stanza I just read for me encompasses the entire poem. There's a lot of anger in it, and I think there's some bitterness as well. Um, I mean, it takes like a lot of risks right from the title. Calling love a lie agreed upon. So, I mean, I'm kind of a little bit of loss for words because this kind of hits kind of close to home for me. Yeah, I love how I called it haunting. All of these, I think it just go to the prompt. What prompt did he do? Five. Love always wakes the dragon and suddenly flames everywhere. So I'm gonna have to read this again. I can't comment all the way through because I'm still kind of shuffling my feet backwards on it. But this was incredible. I enjoyed it. I'm gonna have to just pass this off to someone off right now because it's too much for me to kind of ingest all at once right now.
I get that. And sometimes with some of the strongest poetry, it is the ones that you need to go back and, read over and over and absorb it. So I totally get that. And Weaver, your thoughts.
Wow. No, I agree totally. Just so clever. And you feel the heat, you feel the rage, you feel that. And the feeling of inadequacy, it seems to be there as well. I think, if I can find it again, oh, I can't. Bear with me a second because it was such a beautiful stanza. Oh, yes, here I've got it. And grief. Grief smiled before there was anything to mourn. It saw the ending before our story learned the plot twist. Oh, my goodness me. So good. Yeah, I'm sounding as if I'm happy. I'm just happy that we have this to read, I think, more than anything else, because I feel the pain and I feel the anger and I feel this, the whole of this is just an explosion and perfect for the prompt as well. So, thank you so much for sharing. It was
Yeah,
brilliant.
yeah, Weaver, you said that just right. It's almost too much to take in all at once. I've got to almost take a breath, sit down, have a drink or something. Well said.
Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. It does have a strong emotional impact for sure. And Gray, you did a great read of that. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think we can all relate to love kicking us in the teeth at some time or another, um, because it does exactly that. It kicks you in the teeth after causing butterflies in your belly. It really is a knockout punch in the end, and it's hard to get past that hurt and open yourself up to love again. Um, I thought it was well stated, and it speaks to the real monster that love is. So it was nicely done. Great job. Pleasure to read it, Jody.
Absolutely. I have to agree. Wonderful comments, everybody. Yeah, strong lines, amazing imagery and metaphors. I like how Jody writes about the idea, and that I think we've all come to understand that love is not always easy. It can be a painful path to walk. It can be a lesson that you learn from. It's not always comforting. Yeah, I thought this had great lines throughout. Amazing imagery. But I did especially like, I became someone I had spent a lifetime escaping. You called it love. I called it haunting because every kiss echoed through chambers that should have remained sealed. Every promise fed creatures that silence had almost starved. Perhaps love has never been the gentle thing our songs insist upon. And isn't that so true? If love truly was like some of the songs out there, it would just be wonderful all the time, but it isn't. And it's especially difficult when you're loving somebody who's giving nothing in return, who by loving them, you're becoming a person that you don't like, that you want to put behind you. Excellent write by Jody Melton and very well done. So we're going to have a few carryovers, which will either go on the next Intercraft or Sullen Art Show in 2 weeks, or if I need them for something before then, I'll let people know, but it'll be hats, Splitsville Bolin, Ben Hart, Naomi Sarah, Letters by Larry, and Lena61. A great show tonight. Thank you, Tim, for being an amazing co host. Thank you, Weaver and Gray, for calling in. Thank you to Yumpy and Macris and Robbie for hanging on the board. Thank you to everyone who is listening now or will be listening later. We truly appreciate you all. In about a half hour, you can join myself and Robbie for Echoes in the Dark. And of course, make sure to keep an eye out on the contests and topic boards put up by Late Night Poets, hosts and hostesses, because you're sure to find something to inspire. And have a wonderful night, everyone.
Thanks, Pam, for having
Good
us.
night,
Thanks.
Tim. Good night, Pam. Good night, Weaver. Good night, John Boy.
Thanks, guys.
Ah,
Good night, everyone.
ah.
All right. Bye-bye.